2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday the 17th of March, and it's St. Patrick's Day. And a big happy birthday to John Boyega, Rob Lowe, Hosier, and Lucy East. Thursday saw a major breakthrough in the ongoing NHS pay dispute as health unions reached a £2.5 billion pay deal with the government, which could put an end to strikes by healthcare workers in England. Here's Health Secretary Steve Barclay explaining what the new offer entails.
It will be for a 5% pay rise next year, but also an additional lump sum in terms of this year, which is additional to the award through the pay review body, which was on average 4.75%.
It's a big step up from the 3.5% pay rise tabled earlier this year, and the RCN, GMB and Unison unions have all said they'll be recommending it to their members. Liv Whitfield is from the GMB and says the offer shows progress has been made.
Actually, when we started this, the government said there would be absolutely no more money for last year's pay and there would be a very small cap on this year's pay. They have moved on all of those positions and we have got a reasonable pay offer on the table.
Meanwhile, there's still no end in sight for the rail disputes, and the first of 4 planned days of rail strikes went ahead on Thursday. RMT union boss Mick Lynch says they're willing to negotiate with the government, but previous offers haven't been up to scratch.
But they must offer us a better deal. The deal on the table is simply not acceptable, but we'll be reasonable in our stance and we'll work up a settlement with them if they're willing to do so.
Jeremy Hunt had a busy day of media rounds on Thursday, one day after delivering his first ever budget as Chancellor. He was questioned on several of his proposed new policies, including changes to childcare funding and an increase on corporation tax. But the main talking point was his decision to scrap the £1 million limit on tax-free pension savings. Jeremy says it's all about alleviating the crisis in the NHS.
This is a change that is primarily driven because we have a big issue in the NHS, which is doctors reducing their hours or retiring early just at the time the NHS needs them the most.
But Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves says abolishing the pensions cap was the wrong move.
The only permanent tax change that the Chancellor announced yesterday was to help the top 1% of people save even more into their pensions. Now, we know there's a problem around doctors, so let's fix the problem for doctors. But this £1 billion or more giveaway is the wrong priority when ordinary people are facing a cost of living crisis.
It's been a roller coaster of a week for Swiss banking giant Credit Suisse. On Wednesday, their shares plummeted to an all-time low, but they were thrown a £45 billion lifeline from the Swiss National Bank on Thursday. It comes just days after the US-based Silicon Valley Bank went into insolvency, and it's led to concerns we're on the verge of another financial crisis. Economist Nouriel Roubini, who's better known as Dr. Doom, lived up to his name. He's predicting this could be another Lehman moment.
The problem is that Credit Suisse, by some standards, might be too big to fail, but also too big to be saved. It's not clear that, unlike the United States, the federal system has enough resources to engineer a bailout.
But despite the worries about the stability of the banking sector, the European Central Bank's confirmed it'll be going ahead with planned interest rate hikes across the Eurozone. Here's ECB President Christine Lagarde making the announcement on Thursday.
Inflation is projected to remain too high for too long. Therefore, the Governing Council today decided to increase the 3 key ECB interest rates by 50 basis points.
There have been rumours all week, but Cabinet Office Minister Oliver Dowden finally confirmed on Thursday that social media app TikTok's to be banned from UK government devices amid security concerns. It follows similar decisions made in the EU, US and Canada over fears the Chinese-owned app could be sharing user data with Beijing. Oliver says national security is the top priority.
Our security must always come first, and today we are strengthening that security in a prudent and proportionate way.
Unfortunately, the ban won't be extended to personal devices of British politicians, so Matt Hancock's influencer side hustle won't be coming to an end anytime soon. So saddle up for more of this.
A load of people have been in contact about my shirt that I was wearing last night, and they spotted that it's the same one that I auctioned for charity a couple of years ago. And what happened was the guy who bought it then gave it back to me as a gift.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Arsenal are out of the Europa League and Seth Rogen talks porn. Oh, God. Right after this. Welcome back.
It was a busy night of Europa League action on Thursday, which saw both Man United and Arsenal feature in the second leg of the last 16. United continued their easy defeat of Real Betis, knocking the Spanish side out 5-1 on aggregate to sail through to the quarter-finals. But Arsenal had the tougher test. There were 2-2 against Sporting Lisbon going into Thursday's match, and it didn't go well for them on the night. The game finished 1-1 with a 5-3 score on aggregate after penalties. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta didn't sound too happy about it either.
There were moments, especially in the first 75 minutes, that we were on our level. We gave every single ball away, and we didn't have the capacity to dominate the game and take the game where we wanted. It's true that in the last 15 minutes we had the chances, and the extra time the chances to win it. And when it goes down to the penalties, then it's a lot of uncertainty, and we lost it.
Seth Rogen's been having quite the week. The Canadian actor was walking the champagne carpet at the Academy Awards on Monday after his film The Fabelmans was nominated for Best Picture, and then he apparently spent the night getting high with Megan Thee Stallion and her brother. He spilled all the tea about the Oscars in an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel, but it sounds like nothing will compare to his first ever awards show.
20 years ago, I went to the AVN Awards, more commonly known as the Porno Movie Awards. And if you thought the Oscars were long, the Porn Awards are 5.5 hours long because there is so many categories.
Today's the day the latest instalment in the DC Extended Universe, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, is out in cinemas. It continues the story of Billy Batson and his group of foster siblings who can transform into superheroes by yelling the word Shazam! No, it didn't work. As they take on a new set of villains called the Daughters of Atlas in an attempt to stop them from destroying the world. If you still haven't booked your ticket, here's a little trailer tease for you.
We are at war. We will annihilate everything. Champions of this realm can do nothing to stop us.
You are very menacing. I just want you to know that.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.